Hello, my friends. How are you guys doing? It's your buddy Keith. We're here again at Essex Recording Studios, just outside London in England, sunny England today. And I've got this beautiful vintage Martin 12-string D28 guitar to show you today. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, clicking like, joining the family. There's almost 1,000 of us now. We're getting there, guys. And we all love to share knowledge, give comments on these guitars. We learn a lot together, hang out, have a beer on the weekend, and just chat about guitars. So thanks for joining the family. Thanks for subscribing. And you'll be seeing lots of other very cool special guitars that I buy from all over the world each and every day. All right? So without any further ado, let's talk about this one. I'm going to pull it out of its case here. And all right. Give it a close. This guitar has a lot of special history behind it. Just like the other Martin on the channel, the D35 I showed you, this came from the #1, really the only premium instrument hire company, rental company in London over the past 40 years. They were called Audio Hire initially. Then they became, I think, Music Hire, then Tickle. Now it's FX Music Hire. But you can see the different stickers from the company there with the serial number, and then on the back here, big there. And what this company did is any artist like coming over from America that was touring the UK, had a big performance in London, or wanted to record at one of the big studios like Abbey Road, Metropolis, Olympic, they would there was one place to go to get an instrument like this, unless you wanted to go buy one. And of course, the guitar store would have to have it in stock. You'd have to go to the guitar store, go get it. There's only one company that hired these instruments out, and that was the one that we have right here in front of you. So this was the 12-string Martin D28 that if someone required one in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, this is the one that was used. So lots of major artists have had it. It's been in the hands of very accomplished musicians from all over the world, in the biggest studios, in the biggest venues. And if you see a picture or a video of someone playing a 12-string D28 during the last 40 years here in London, very good chance this is the exact one they were playing. A lot of people don't realize that, especially a lot of the high-end artists. You'll get like Paul McCartney, and a lot of the instruments they play are not owned by them. They're just rented out for a specific gig. They're there waiting for them. They're set up. They're ready to go, and that's it. Talking about this one, really interesting things with it. So first of all, you have this beautiful Sitka top and gorgeous rosewood back and sides. We'll flip it over and show you just how gorgeous the wood grain is on it. You've got what looks like a mahogany neck. And yeah, rosewood back and sides. And that grain is just lovely. Super, super pretty. Of course, there's little marks here and there because this has been a professional gigging instrument for decades. But it's been maintained to a high standard. Plays lovely. And straight away it was upgraded with these West German Schaller, I'll never know how to pronounce it right, Schaller, premium tuners, which, on a 12-string instrument, you want the very best in tuning stability. And I've noticed this on most Gibsons and other high-end guitars from this era, that I've had countless ones that all end up getting the tuner swapped out for these premium German upgrades. Now, when you look inside, this is really interesting. You can see on Martins, you've got the. Oh, can we focus there, guys? Come on now. They're being difficult. Let's try and get some focus. All right, might need to move the angle there. There we go. So you see D-12-28. So on the 12 strings, what they do is they take a D-28 and they'll put the string configuration in front. So it's not like they do a D6-28, but just for the 12 strings, they denote that in front of the normal model. So it's a D28 12 string, and that's how they do it. For the serial number, this is where things get interesting. Try and zoom in here. So you see, it looks like it's back up, guys. Come on, let's get in focus. Can we do it? There we go. So it looks like an 8, right? 827740. Well, if it were an 8, this would end up being a like mid-2000s guitar, which this definitely is not. For starters, you can tell just by the patina, the wood being used, and everything else about it, that it's not a 10-year-old guitar. Second of all, with the tuners, you wouldn't have tuners swapped out for West Germany. West Germany hasn't been a thing since 1991. What this guitar actually is it's a 1974. If I remember correctly, you can go on the serial number checker. It's a 1974 because that 8 is actually, can we focus? Is a 3 that's been drawn in from what I can see. The right half is etched in like the rest of the serial number, and the left side's kind of drawn in. And the reason for that is the history of this guitar. So, being the fact that this guitar was rented out to people, to strangers, there were multiple attempts over the years from different people, artists, companies that were taking over the management, etc., to unfortunately try and walk off with some of these instruments. Now, we bought this straight from the owner and director of the company, the original one, who always maintained ownership of the instruments. And he did have a few stories to tell over the years of how artists would just walk off and never come back. And which is why he had a policy of holding on to everyone's passports. So if you rented an instrument, doesn't matter if you were a platinum selling artist, if you didn't leave a deposit for the full amount, he took a passport. So even then, people would go and get an emergency passport and walk off. And, he did suffer losses, but there were also times when people would try and swap out instruments. Maybe they had one that was damaged, or they wanted to claim that this one was theirs and maybe the other one was lost, and they wanted to do an insurance thing. Who knows what? But, we did have one Rickenbacker bass that actually he did get duped on, where the guy took the truss rod cover, because Rickenbacker doesn't stamp their name on the actual guitar. They just have it on a plastic truss rod cover. And actually the guy had a Japanese copy and took a few parts off of the USA one and put it on the Japanese, and he pocketed the Japanese one. Or pocketed the USA one and returned the Japanese to the company, thinking like they won't just check very closely, and they didn't. And so when we went to buy this collection, we saw that one, and even we got duped on it until we went and looked and opened up the back and saw the pots and saw that they were Asian and everything else. But, so when you're in this sort of business, you do get attempts to defraud you and steal, unfortunately. That is the major headache of the business. But when it comes to this one, he got it and he was able to keep it, and no one was able to walk away with it, which is great. So just kind of an interesting story that forms the, amazing history of this guitar. So cool. And that's based on what I've done on my research. I could be wrong, and that could be an 8. But to me, looking at it closely, you can't see in the phone, it looks like a 3 that was very carefully drawn in. And I don't know if that was maybe a dispute over inventory when the new company was supposed to hand back the instruments to the old company, and they were trying to say, this is a newer one. This isn't yours. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is. rarely a legitimate reason that someone goes and tries to alter a serial number. But, you know, what I do know is this guy's had it for decades, and we got it from his house along with some seriously rare instruments. You can see them all on the channel. There was one of the first original Brooklyn, New York Steinberger basses. There was a Wall bass back from when Wall was still alive in 1984. The incredible instruments we got out of this collection from the original owner of the company. So, yeah, guys, I think that covers all the bases. You've seen the condition. Obviously, there's some marks. Like there's this thing in the lacquer here, and there's some, you know, picking marks there. But overall, I mean, this thing just sounds... Obviously, it's not in tune, but just like really big volume. Really big volume. I mean, major resonance is still going. Still going. I can feel it vibrating in the body still. Still feel it. Still feel it. It's just fading out now. I mean, that tells you the quality of this thing. Cool. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I'll just show you real fast along the fretboard. There's some, you know, chipping away at the lacquer or whatever on the side. But yeah, it's a player's grade instrument for sure, guys. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, hanging out with me this weekend. And yeah, if you get a chance, go over to Facebook and follow us. It's Essex Recording Studios. You can always message me there or leave a comment here. If you want to buy it, it's on EssexRecordingStudios.com, hosted by our good friends Reverb.com. And yeah, it's for sale there. We sell to any country in the world. We pack them expertly. We've got 100% positive feedback, and you will be very happy when you get it, I'm sure. Cool. I'm going to sign off here. We've got a few more guitars in the kitchen to do videos for and a few more out in the hallway. So without any more stuff, I'm going to get off this video and get you on to the next one here real soon. Take it easy, guys.